Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Rucci and today I wanted to talk to you about the concept of time and how we treat it as a resource, our perspective on it, and how it influences the way that we live our lives. Have you ever stopped to think about what you would do or how you would live your life if you just had the time to simply live? No rushing, no rat race, no hustle culture, just simply living life the way that we are supposed to as human beings, and really focusing on all of these little things that we now see as luxuries, taking the time in the morning to sip your morning coffee and be grateful for another day to wake up with a healthy body and a beating heart, versus what we're alternatively used to, rushing between tasks, scarfing down a meal, really just not focusing on the present moment and ultimately just disregarding the fragility of time. In today's fast-paced world and technologically advanced societies, the ultimate luxury to me, more than money, is time. Money is something that we can always make back. Money is energy. Money is something that comes and goes, it ebbs and flows like many other things in life. But with time, when you actually consider it, it is a resource that we don't get back. Knowing that, I feel like the way that we treat this precious resource and allocate it to different elements in our lives should be far more intentional than it might be right now. Considering this big American dream concept and just the overall idea of what makes a successful human in the 21st century, a lot of it comes down to this grind culture and this go, go, go constant pressure of doing something and making something more of yourself and just constantly being on go mode, that we often oversee the little moments in life that truly are the most precious and give life the most meaning. Being someone who is so extremely passionate about well-being and mindfulness, I really do try to be grateful for even the most minute of moments that I get to experience, whether that is feeling the hot water on my back when I'm in the shower or getting to do my skincare and really focusing on the feeling of each product on my skin. And while I'm really glad and grateful to see the rise of self-care and well-being in society and just the narrative of being more in control of your time rising in popularity, I do still think that innately we seem to equate busyness with success, and I do think that we can allow ourselves more time to relish in the littlest of moments and savor life for what it is. I say this with immense gratitude, and I truly see it as a blessing to even have time to allocate to different things. I understand that this is a privilege, and there are many people in positions who don't even have the opportunity to think about how they're going to allocate their time. They are in conditions or situations where they simply have to be on go mode. But I am a firm believer that no matter the circumstance and no matter your position in life, we do all have the abilities within to transform our lives. So while acknowledging that being flexible with your time and potentially being more picky with how you allocate it is a privilege, I do still think that we all have the power within to put ourselves in a position where we are at that point. I do encourage you to try and reevaluate your life and see in what areas you may be able to change things around to allow yourself that flexibility, allow yourself that freedom, and allow yourself that room to appreciate and enjoy the moments that will give your being the most peace. In my case in particular, I wanted to set myself up in a way where when it came to work, when it came to my passions, when it came to just my overall outlook and approach to life, I had time to allocate to the things that make me truly, truly happy. And those include spending time with my loved ones, being able to focus on my health and well-being, whether that means making nourishing meals, taking part in workouts that really exercise my body and mind, and truly just being able to live life at the pace that I want versus what society might be rushing me to do. And that's not to say it's been easy. There have definitely been mindset shifts and perspectives that I've had to learn and unlearn to really allow myself the opportunity to be in control of my time. There has been pressure around thinking about careers and finances and how I can set myself up in a position where I am able to take a lot of time off or travel the world and be able to work remotely, to invest into my health, or sharing moments with my family members, whether they needed me for health reasons or there have been opportunities to travel together and make memories of a lifetime. These are things that to me make a whole, fulfilling, and rich life. What you hope or plan to do with your time on this planet may be very different from what my priorities are, but I do really encourage you to take the time to sit with yourself and essentially do an audit of your life. Look at how you're allocating your time to different things. Look at where it's being wasted. Again, it is a resource that is so extremely precious, and look at how you can reallocate it in a way that allows you to indulge in the things that you have always wanted to, because I can assure you, you absolutely can make it happen. It is simply a matter of prioritizing it and planning backwards to allow yourself the opportunity to live the life that you want. Now, like I said, getting to this current perspective that I'm at and having this outlook on life was not necessarily a natural process. It was something that I had to do a lot of thinking about. I understand that there are many reasons why we might not prioritize restructuring our time, especially in this day and age age, there are other resources that take precedence, and we sometimes get masked or blinded by the weight of money and how it runs our society. And we are always on go mode because we are trying to meet financial constraints. Living paycheck to paycheck is definitely something that makes it really hard to prioritize time and even think about quitting a job to travel the world, or quitting a job to care for a sick family member, or fearing being left behind, whether it's in comparison to our peers or just our overall demographic and where people our age might be at in their lives versus where we are at. The anxiety of stepping off of a traditional career path and potentially climbing the corporate ladder to pursue a more unconventional path, whether that's something that might be a bit more creative and a little less linear. These things take time, and not having a guarantee can sometimes be very daunting, and knowing that there may not be this set outcome that we so strongly desire can make things a bit more difficult. Or even just culturally, there may be these narratives that we are trying to live up to and satisfy, whether they suit our needs and our desires in life or not. Sometimes the idea of taking time off, again, whether that is to pursue a new passion or simply to heal your mental health, can sometimes be seen as taboo. It can be seen as irresponsible, immature, or selfish. And naturally, those are judgments that often make people a little bit more fearful to take a chance, take a risk, and prioritize their time. Before we talk about the benefits of choosing time as the strongest resource in your life and actually choosing to live your life in a way that prioritizes time above all else, I do want to remind you that the time will continue to pass. So whether you prioritize it or not, the amount allocated in your time bank will continue to dwindle. So if that's going to happen inevitably, why not consider what you're going to do with it? And why not consider using that time towards building a life that truly makes you happy and fulfilled? In taking leaps of faith and allowing myself opportunities to really indulge in time and be more present, I've come across quite a few benefits, some of which include self-discovery. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about the type of person that I am, the things that truly set my soul on fire, things that I value in my day-to-day versus things that I was mindlessly wasting my precious resource of time on, like doom scrolling, like overthinking. I've also come to realize that a lot of the activities or so-called passions that I was taking part in are ones that didn't truly align with my interests, or I just simply grew out of. Alternatively, I've also been able to reconnect and rediscover the things that have always brought so much passion into my life. Having the time to indulge in them only makes my life feel more fruitful. Another one is building stronger, meaningful relationships. So whether that is building a stronger relationship with yourself or having the time to allocate towards your family members and really build on those relationships, or take the time to engage in new friendships. These are often overseen when we are rushing from task to task. And really, truly, when you think about it, humans are social beings. We really do need connection. We value connection so deeply, and it doesn't always have to be external connection. It even just means connection within. Again, it just goes back to self-discovery and really taking the time to understand who you are and what you value. For me, family is huge, and spending time with my loved ones is extremely important. And I'm so grateful that over the last few years, while family members have gotten sick or family members have moved away, I've had the time to allocate to building the most priceless of memories that I will hold near and dear to my heart for the rest of my life. And I will never once have any regrets about not having enough time to spend with them, or not taking the opportunities to use my time on people that I love. And finally, prioritizing time has also brought a lot of perspective shifts. It's brought me a lot more clarity on not just who I am and what I value, but just the overall scope of life. What is life truly supposed to be about? And it's helped me make better, more sound decisions about the direction of my life and the trajectory of it, and how I want to use my time and continue doing so moving forward, especially knowing that we have just begun a new year. And yes, while there are many months ahead before we make it to the end of this one, time does move rather quickly, especially when you're not cognizant of how it's being spent. So knowing this, if you do want to be a little bit more intentional about how you allocate your time to building the life of your dreams or the reality that truly brings you joy, here are some ways you can get started. 1, take small steps towards freedom. I have worked in a number of settings, whether it's been fully in office, corporate settings, work from home, agency work, working for myself, and throughout I've always wanted to make sure that I'm giving myself the time to prioritize small breaks in between. I know that all of us are in very different situations, and how we can allocate our time, especially in the current moment, might also look very different. However, I do really strongly encourage you to carve points out of your day, your week, for yourself and for the things that you truly value, whether that means planning one weekend trip to really just get away and unplug, or even just setting stronger boundaries when it comes to certain people or even just your work, to ensure you have better balance with the time that belongs to others and the time that belongs to you. I also think we need to shift our perspectives on how we see time and how we see success and what we value as freedom. If you see being in control of your time and having the freedom to use your time as you please as one of life's largest luxuries, sometimes when you need to make changes in your life, that allow you more time above anything else, you're not in the most financially affluent situation. Reevaluate your value system. Look at what you truly, truly prioritize in life currently and what your soul has always demanded, what you deep down think makes a fruitful life. For me, like I said, that means intentional time spent with loved ones, having time to focus on my overall well-being, and being able to also indulge in my passions. These are all things that make me feel the most feminine, the most authentic, and truly just the most alive. We get so sucked into doing things without actually thinking about them sometimes that we end up feeling like a cog in the machine, and we don't actually feel like we're having any impact on our own lives or the lives of those around us. I truly think that sometimes we need to give ourselves the opportunity to reevaluate everything that is currently being entertained in our lives and see if it actually fits the bill to guiding us in the direction of the life that we want, or one that we are simply living for others. But yes, while time is absolutely a luxury, it is something that we also have the power of choice towards and around. So I encourage you to exercise your power of choice and make the investment in your life. It may involve making some sacrifices, but see what you are open to making sacrifices around, because I can assure you, you will not regret it. There are far too many stories I've heard where there are people who are extremely affluent and successful by our current society's definition, and they too reflect on how they've lived their lives thus far, or at the end of their lives, they've reflected on how they wish they had used their time better, or maybe they had learned things a little earlier. So if time were no object, how would you spend yours? I challenge you to think a little bit more about that today, and if you feel called or open to, I would absolutely love you to share down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it got you thinking a little bit more about your life and how you choose to live it. We are all worthy and deserving of making the most of our time on this planet, and sometimes it involves us just thinking a little bit harder and making a few changes. So hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already for more like this, and I will see you next time.